Good morning, everyone. Just got up, feeling a bit groggy this morning, but I'll get going once I get out there. Today, I'm just going to have a look around at my local spots, and this is something that is really quite enjoyable. And it's not so much that I'm after birds. Well, I'm after birds. I'm always after birds, but I just want to see what's going on out there. This time of the year, sometimes you see raptors and things like that. So let's go. Hi. One of the things that I love to do is to go around the back of Mandurah and explore the open fields and just to see what I can get. And quite often I will see raptors, and that's usually what I really enjoy to do. There's just something about photographing the sea eagles, wedge-tailed eagles, kestrels, black-shouldered kites. Sometimes you might see a harrier. I've got the Peregrine Falcon around here as well, and you know, for you in your area, think just go out and drive around and just see what you can get. And it's just such a beautiful morning. Um, the white-throated chats, and they're just feeding on the ground and jumping up onto the barbed wire rusting fence. And we did take some shots and videos, and it was good. Mm. Oh, red-capped parrots flying around and landing on the fence because they're just going down onto the ground feeding. And it's one of the reasons I love to go out into the paddocks because you just never know what you're going to see. And it's just a good change. I actually find it quite exhilarating, and it just relaxes me as well. And I've got no expectation other than to enjoy myself. Just a red-capped parrot flying with the 28. So they're hanging around together, the 28s and the red-capped parrots, and just feeding. The red-capped parrots is endemic to the southwest of Western Australia, and I do see them a lot, but they're very skittish birds. It's just on the side of the road, and just to the right there you can see that grass tree and that long stem coming out of the middle of it. Quite often parrots will sit on that, so while I'm driving on I always look out for that. And what I do is I can see them as I'm coming up the road, and I will slow down, and quite often I will decide, am I going to take a shot from the car? So the paddocks are beautiful, and this time of the year it's very dry, but there's a lot of seed around. So, I've got a good chance of seeing parrots, which I already have. I've seen the red-capped parrots and the 28s, but sometimes I see the regent parrots, the elegant parrots, and quite often the regent parrots will sit on the trees on the side of the road. Sometimes one year they were just coming in and sitting on this particular tree. So when I was driving around, when I came down this way, I would always look for that tree. So I watch their behaviour and I learn from their behaviour what to expect. I've just come across the white-bellied sea eagle, and he's huge. He's sitting on a tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull over and I'm going to take a shot. It's just sitting in the tree in the paddock towards the back, and so I wouldn't approach him, but sometimes, you know, the sea eagles will let you close when, you know, reasonably close enough to get a nice shot and a usable photo. And I used to come down this way a lot just for the sea eagles because the juveniles would be around and everything. But I don't do it as much now because I've got a lot of white-bellied sea eagles over the years. I just heard the green shank and he's just flying along, so there are birds around, and we've got the migratory birds here at the moment. So if you love the migratory birds, if you go around exploring, there you go, you can hear him, and it can be quite interesting. And a couple of ospreys up here. There's a few ospreys that do nest around this side of the estuary. Most of the breeding's finished now and the juvies are out and about. So there's an osprey nest. I've watched this a lot over the years. I actually don't think they were successful this year. I'm not really sure. And it's looking a bit untidy. I followed this pair when they first started building the nest here, and first 2 years they were not successful. Different things happened with the nest and they just got back and rebuilt it. First year when they were successful, it was the most beautiful thing, the way they were, because they were a young pair, and it was just gorgeous to watch, and the way they looked after their young, and there were 3 in the nest, and it was just beautiful. Crabbing's very popular at the estuary, and that's from November onward. December actually, I think it is, they changed it. And I often see the ranger coming around and checking people's catches. Sometimes he's come up to me and said, "What have you got in there?" And I said, "I've only got a camera." And so they're on the ball with their job. It's all about looking after what we've got. On this part of the road, I often see the red-capped parrots under the trees in the shade, and there's something ahead of me now. It's not a red-capped parrot though, and they'll sit there and eat the gum nuts, and oh, you know what, that was a red-capped parrot. So, oh my goodness, there's lots of parrots here. It's one of the dirt roads around the paddocks, and there's a lot of trees here along the side of the road, and one of the things that I've noticed over the years is the red-capped parrots will come down and feed on the fallen gum nuts on the ground. And I've got many a photo along here and a bit of video, so it is really worth keeping an eye out and just see what's going on. So I'll be driving along this road and I'm looking as far in front of me as I can on the ground, because they actually blend in quite well. And as soon as I spot one, I slow down and just keep going towards them, and then I'll stop and often get my binoculars out and look through the binoculars and just gauge if they're quite comfortable there feeding. And then I decide, am I going to drive? How close am I going to go? Because there is a boundary. Once they notice you, you've got Buckley's of getting a shot. So what I do is pull over slowly. I take my time. I don't rush. If they're going to go, they're going to go. But you've got a better chance of getting a shot if you go slow in your approach to them. So you can't just walk up to them. I'm after the behaviour shot, and so behind me, this is where I see them, and this is one of the spots that I have got them before, and I get out my car very slowly. I often have the camera in the front seat with me, and as I get out, sometimes I don't even shut the door properly because just the sound of the car door could make them fly. And because I'm after the behaviour, so it's important that I try not to disturb them and they continue feeding because it's actually fascinating to watch them. They lift up the gun and because they've got this really curved bill, I should say. It's curved, so they put that in. That's actually nature's way of letting them get the seeds out. So it's really cool to watch. This type of photography, I have like my binoculars, and I also put my camera in the front of the car with me. So that's if I do stop, because often when I see something, sometimes I just know I can't get out the car and I have to try and get that bird from my car. And it can be quite restrictive, but I have got some nice shots in the past doing that, so that's fine. Or other times I have to go because if I'm getting out my car, going around and getting my camera, that disturbs the birds. And when I used to do that, 90% of the time they would fly. So I have it in the front with me. I stop and I watch, and I don't rush because if you rush, you're going to frighten the bird and it's going to go. So it's just a waste of time. So, at least if I stop, go slowly, get my camera, get out the car, carefully close my doors. Sometimes I just leave it slightly ajar. I make as less noise as possible, and then I get down low as I can as I slowly go towards the bird. And you just got to look like you're not after them. Because I don't know how many times I've botched it up and they take off. And certain birds you can approach, but there are just some birds that won't let you near them. And But I always try because there are times when I do get them. So it's just persistence does pay off, and it's something that I do a lot of.